What's up, y'all? Talon here. Today I'm back with another series of ranked Regulation F battles featuring top teams in the metagame. Today I have a team from the Portland Regionals piloted by two Day 2 players, both Ian McLaughlin and Enzo Ricci. Enzo was able to get 10-4, finished 23rd place, I believe, just behind the 22nd place team that we actually featured on the previous episode, featuring the Como, Primarina, Latios, and Magmar. Go check that out on the channel if you have not already. But this team is very interesting. It features some old favorites of Enzo and Ian. They've been using this Torn Ursaluna Goldengo core for a little bit. I'm not sure if the Urshifu is new. I believe it was a water one in previous ones, but this one is the single strike dark type Urshifu. But the new faces are the Smeargle and the Entei. The Entei kind of, similar to the Hisuian Arcanine's role on these sort of Tailwind offensive teams, but the Smeargle is all new and I'm very excited to be featuring it. Definitely a favorite of Ian's in the past, the really aggressive fake out, follow me, wide guard Spore, support Smeargle, used to be Dark Void back in the day, but he definitely has a lot of experience piloting this team, as does Enzo, so no surprise they were able to take it to the first tournament of its legality to a Day 2 performance across two finishes with both of them. The EVs for this team were not made publicly available, so I did my closest approximation and put that in the description below in the PokePaste if you want to take this to Pokemon Showdown. Or I also recreated the team in-game. If you want to take the team on Battle Stadium, I have their rental code in the top right, of course, as well as in the description of the video. If you enjoy that resource and appreciate the channel, please give a subscription and a like on this video, as well as a comment. Helps out a lot with the video. And yeah, with all that being said, let's get into a breakdown of this team. So starting off, Tornadus is really the pace setter of this team. It goes for the Prankster Tailwind with Covert Cloak to get pretty much guaranteed Tailwinds up against pretty much any opposing strategy other than a faster taunt, and I believe this is a max speed Torn. This is kind of unique in that most of them have shifted over to a bulkier Rocky Helmet set, but this one is Covert Cloak max speed taunt, so you should be able to taunt opposing Torns before they're able to get Tailwind and then go for one yourself. We also have Bleak Windstorm with a Terra Flying to do massive damage, and then Grass Knot's an interesting choice. We don't see it on a lot of Torns, but really the main value is you're able to hit Urshifu Water just very consistently. You don't have to worry about the accuracy, and you can also hit it whether it has gone for the Terra Water or not. Bleak Wind obviously not super effective into the plain water Urshifu after it's gone for that terastallization, but the Grass Knot always will hit that for super effective, which is really good for the consistency of the team. You don't want to be rolling the dice too much when you really do need to get a little bit of chip on Urshifu to take knockouts with the other Pokemon on the team. Next up is the Smeargle. So Smeargle running a Terra Ghost here, which makes a lot of sense. I think generally on Smeargle, you'll either see Terra Ghost or Terra Grass. Terra Ghost to avoid things like Fake Out, Extreme Speed from Dragonite and Entei, or Arcanine. And the Terra Grass a bit better into things like Amoonguss Rage Powder and other powder-based moves, but as well as being able to survive a Surging Strike. That is the bane of Smeargle's existence, having the Focus Sash, but being very, very frail. A Surging Strikes that comes from a stray Urshifu will just knock it out, so you do have to be careful of that. So you can lead Tornadus plus Smeargle and very consistently go for Tailwind Spore. If they lead Fake Out, you can go for Terra Ghost and basically take care of the Fake Out with both the Covert Cloak and the Terra Ghost. Aside from that, we have Wide Guard and Fake Out and Follow Me, just a trifecta of really effective disruption tools. So those are really good for the Goldengo in the bottom right. You could potentially get your Goldengo next to Smeargle, and usually one of the issues with Goldengo plus Redirection is it's still pretty weak to spread type moves like, for example, a Sanseer Storm from Landorus Incarnate, but with Wide Guard, you can kind of take advantage of that and force it into a read where you can either follow me the single target move or Wide Guard, and they get nothing off of that turn by them going for the spread move, so I do really like that option as well. Ursaluna Blood Moon is trained a little bit speedier than you might be used to let it function on the Tailwind team. It is a Throat Spray set, so you're trying to activate a Hyper Voice earlier on under Tailwind, and then the subsequent ones with Terra Normal and +1 will do insane damage, or if you need to clear a Pokemon quickly, you can go for the Blood Moon, and then all the Pokemon that resist the normal type, the Steel and the Rock types, you can go right for the Earth Power and take knockouts into those as well. So really great coverage on this Pokemon and can definitely take advantage of the Tailwind really well with just a bit of speed training. You do have to be watchful of faster Choice Scarf Pokemon. It's still not the fastest Pokemon, even trained with a high amount of speed investment, so do be wary that they're in a best of one format. You could be outsped and surprised by some faster Choice Scarf variants of Pokemon. Ian and Enzo opted for an Urshifu on this team, but the single strike one, the Terra Dark Choice Band Wicked Blow, is insane damage all around. It's also a pretty solid Dondozo counter. The damage output from that is pretty much close to, I think it will easily 2-hit KO, do close to 80% to every Dondozo, regardless of their bulk. And if you have like Fake Out Smeargle plus the Wicked Blow and you're in a Tailwind, you can go Fake Out Wicked Blow and then the second Wicked Blow, and I can't really do a lot about it. especially because you can then just spore the Tatsugiri when it falls out of the Dondozo's mouth on the KO. So I think this team actually has a deceptively very strong matchup in a Dondozo as well, which is a pretty relevant force in the metagame right now. Entei is the other new Pokemon. It's rocking a pretty standard Assault Vest set, except this one is a Terra Fairy Terra Blast set. I think the Terra Fairy Terra Blast Choice Banded Arcanine was something that was favored by a lot of hyper offensive players as well, but this time on the Entei, and just generally the utility of the great coverage and Sacred Fire, extreme speeds, priority, just being able to knock things out very quickly, that you've just chipped down with the rest of your strong attackers, and then Stomping Tantrum as an option for things that would otherwise resist its stab coverage. Last up is the Goldengo. I do think the Goldengo setup mode really makes this team shine, so you can either go for your very offensive Tailwind mode, but it's a little one-dimensional. If your opponent has ways to deal with that, you don't have a lot of counterplay. So what you can do is go for a setup mode early, lead Smeargle Goldengo, go Follow Me, Fake Out, Spore, whatever you need to get a couple nasty plots up. And then when Smeargle finally goes down, bring in the Tornadus and get a Tailwind up with your setup Goldengo, and then just start going for Terra Steel, make it rains with the Metal Coat for insane damage. Overall, really cool team from Ian and Enzo. I didn't even comment on the Moody Smeargle. That's definitely something I'm excited to try in these battles. Can't get evasion or accuracy boost anymore, thank goodness, but yeah, definitely could get some out of control speed boost that I'm hoping we get on the battle. You can definitely see remnants of the Terra that Smeargle used to be. Regardless, if you enjoyed these videos, the team breakdowns, and the rental code, please subscribe to the channel. With all that being said, let's get into the battles now. Okay, our opponent here has a Tailwind team with Urshifu, Entei, Fluttermane, Tornadus, Ogerpon, Water, and the Chenpao. So very physically slanted. The Entei could be Choice Band or Assault Vest, could be like Choice Band Terra Normal, or even Assault Vest Terra Normal, but that is definitely a big concern for Smeargle. A lot of things can outspeed and deal with that, so I don't think that is the route that I want to take this match. Goldengo is an option though, but it's very weak to an Entei lead, and I don't want to fall for that necessarily. Actually, I could just go Tailwind Spore on Smeargle to great effect, and I think I may go for that, actually. Seems like it could be of great use for me. I guess Urshifu would be an annoying lead if they go for that, actually, but I could fake that out, so it's not the end of the world. I think Goldengo could be decent this match, but I feel like the Throat Spray Ursaluna might be my best course of action, along with Urshifu in the back. So pretty much just going for the Tailwind mode here. 100% aggression, no protects except for 1 on the Ursaluna, and that's really just like, really if your Ursaluna's hitting Protect, you're on the back foot anyway, so we're going to try and keep the momentum here, put some things to sleep, and go from there. But they do have a lot of priority on their team, which could dispatch me, so got to be careful of that. We do have our own Fake Out as our own priority on the first turn though, so we can take advantage and redirect things away from the Torn to get off Bleak Winds as well. Like there's definitely situations where they just lead double. Okay, there is the Ursh. It is the Surging Strike one. I do feel comfortable going for Grass Knot Fake Out actually into that. I could go Terra Flying Bleak Wind. That's an option for sure. I wonder if they would go for Protect here. I think I'm going to go Fake Out Bleak Wind actually. If they go Fake Out or like Protect Taunt here, well played, but I think this is telegraphing a Choice Scarf Urshifu lead. Just because otherwise you're a little, well, I guess it doesn't necessarily. But I do think Fake Out Grass Knot is almost guaranteed to get me some damage and put the Urshifu in Sucker Punch range, which is in itself pretty valuable. They are going for a Terastallization though. That is on the Urshifu, so trying to dodge any flying type damage, but we do have Grass Knot precisely for this reason. I don't think that's a guaranteed knockout on all Urshifu, but if they do lack bulk, we could get this knockout here. Doing a bit of chip there, and they do go for Tailwind of their own. Now we are primed for a Tailwind from them, but I think that's fine. Okay, we do a ton of damage, but we do not get the knockout. That's very bad. Special attack drop. Speed would have been pretty cute there, but we do drop the speed, in fact. Okay. We didn't actually learn much. Well, did we? Did we not? I don't remember. I should have paid more attention to that turn, but I think we still should just be able to go Tailwind Follow Me. redirect the Surging Strike, and they do switch out. Okay. I'm trying to... Like, I should have paid a bit more attention to when the Urshifu flinched. I would have been able to ID whether they were a Choice Scarf or not. But they do get around this play. They make the correct play and go for most likely a Bleak Wind. Yeah, they go... I go Tailwind first, so they didn't go for Taunt, which means they probably went Bleak Wind, and they do go for it, but they miss on the Torn and the Smeargle. That's very lucky. Very, very lucky. Okay. Raising the special attack again and lowering the defense. All right. That's a little annoying. I think at this point they're pressured to go for a Taunt. But that does open me up to go for a Bleak Wind and a... Follow Me's an option, as is Wide Guard. I think Follow Me is my best play, unless they're going for Snarl here, which I could see. Do I have a safe switch in here? Probably no. And if they go for Extreme Speed, it will redirect around my Torn's attack here. I think I want to go Spore, though. Yeah, they go for Bleak Wind, so I could have gone for Wide Guard. That does indicate they are max speed Torn. And yeah, we would have been... Okay, we do take our turn missing our Bleak Wind, but we do hit the Torn, chip that down a fair bit, so I'm happy with that. They have a Citrus Berry. Are they... Am I mistaken? Am I actually not max speed Torn? Okay, they doubled up, so I could have gone for Sacred Fire, or they could have gone for a Wide Guard and survived this turn, but I think the Spore into the Entei is a lot more valuable if they are not safety goggles, which they do turn out not to be. Could be a Lumberry still, but I think that's relatively uncommon. I don't want Entei these days. We do get the speed raise on the Smeargle, so it's starting to get very scary for them. We are +1 speed, I believe. Yeah, I can't check it here. But that's super valuable, honestly. With the Entei asleep, we are actually... The speed doesn't matter on our Smeargle because we can bring in the Ursaluna. Yeah, this is really an ideal position. Tailwind's about to end. I think it might be time to just pop the Terra Normal because they don't have a lot of counterplay to it. And I just go for Wide Guard and Hyper Voice. And I don't think there's a lot they can do about it. They've already burned their Terra, so they can't go for like a Terra Steel to resist this. I don't think Hyper Voice will knock out the Torn necessarily this turn, but given I have Wide Guard on the field and an offset turn of Tailwind, I believe, from them, we should be able to knock out the Entei with 2 subsequent attacks. So finally revealing the Wide Guard. Did get a bit lucky on the Bleak Wind misses, but hey, that is Torn. We've definitely had our fair share of matches where we missed, but okay, they do finally go for Taunt. So a bit curious why they didn't do that in the previous turn. But yeah, I think damage is sort of done, and that the Ursaluna is now ready to go to town. We do knock out the Torn, which means they do not get another Tailwind up, which means we will have 1 guaranteed turn of speed superiority with our Ursaluna. We were going to 2-hit KO their Entei anyways, but now with the Throat Spray, very, very guaranteed. We get an attack raise. In theory, we don't have to switch out the Smeargle. We're not taking struggle damage if we're just locked into Fake Out, but I think switching it out is probably our best decision. They go Chen Pao. Okay. So Sacred Sword could be a little problematic here. But I feel like Urshifu Sucker Punch is a good out for me here, I think, but we do have to be careful. Like the close combats and Sacred Swords into my Ursaluna with minimal bulk are still going to be doing a big chunk. Like if they wake up and go for Extreme Speed Sucker Punch into my Ursaluna, that's still going to do a lot and put me in Aqua Jet range. But I think the damage I do this turn is important. It puts everything in the battle remaining into Sucker Punch range. They don't actually protect Chen Pao, which is really what I was hoping for. Yep, we bring that down just a bit, and I think we should be guaranteed to live a Sacred Sword from their Chen Pao, so depending on how this turn goes, we might have a guaranteed win. No, actually, okay. I was hoping they'd knock out my Ursaluna there till I could bring in the Smeargle, but doesn't turn out to be the case. So, I can lock Sucker Punch on the Urshifu slot. I always Hyper Voice here, I think. And then I think I can just They don't have a knockout with Surging Strikes. I guess this depends on how fast their Urshifu is. But I think they need to be Aqua Jet to win this, and if they are, I should win with Smeargle, I think. We're going to see the speed tiers, though. Would be good if I had remembered if they were Choice Scarf or not, but some Urshifu with the Choice Scarf don't even carry Aqua Jet. Like they go for Ice Spinner or another coverage move instead of that, so I think Sucker Punching the Urshifu is my best play. They do go Aqua Jet, which I think confirms to me that they do take the knockout with the Terra Water and the Sword of Ruin. But I do whiff my Sucker Punch into that slot. So I could have Sucker Punched Shenpao, but I think definitely safer to go into the Urshifu there. They didn't Sucker Punch with Shenpao, fair enough. Okay. They are locked into Aqua Jet. We survived that. Okay. If they know I'm Choice Band, they have a fairly safe locked up endgame, I think. Right? I could go Fake Out, maybe knock out Urshifu, maybe not, but I think Sucker Punch probably doesn't get me. Yeah, I think I'm going to Fake Out and Sucker Punch to Chenpao. I think with the 4 times resist, we shouldn't be knocked out. We do take out their Urshifu, which is good. We probably just barely got there. But now we need to survive a Sucker Punch from their Chenpao, which is going to be close. It's not close, actually. Yeah, 4 times resist is one heck of a modifier, and we do live that pretty easily, and now we have it pretty much locked up with Swords Dance Sucker Punch. Actually don't think we can lose now because we just go Follow Me, Sucker Punch until we run out of PP. And yeah, eventually we'll be going for a Struggle, which will hit through no matter what. And they can't Sucker Punch my Smeargle for any damage, so we do probably just close that out. Like, I think as long as we just keep hitting A on Follow Me, Sucker Punch will automatically win us the game eventually by running out of PP, actually. Yep, and we finally do it. We finally run out of struggles or attacks, and we can go for Struggle. Looks like we have incurred a glitch here. We have the check status and the check target on screen, but yeah, there is the Urshifu coming in with the Struggle, going through Protect. Actually, is that what happened? I thought it hit Protect and was able to, have that on the field, but I guess not. It just went right through it. Oh, Unseen Fist. I guess Struggle is a contact move. That's pretty funny. Yeah, you can struggle through Protects. Very interesting mechanic there. So looking back on that battle, I think I definitely got bailed by the Bleak Wind Mist to some extent, and that gave me the opportunity to get a free turn with the Ursaluna, but I do think if they had preserved the Focus Ash on Chenpao, instead of taking the Sacred, like taking damage one turn, that would have been really good for them in the late game, because they could have gone for the Sacred Sword and not really worried about the Sucker Punch, which most likely wouldn't have been a 2-hit KO anyways. So yeah, interesting play. I think that is the nature of Bleak Wind. It kind of makes game states very weird and inconsistent, but we were able to come out on top on that one because of the strong support of Smeargle. Fake Out and Follow Me, just really an undisputed, incredible combination of moves together. Okay, interesting team from my opponent. A lot of bulk on this team, but I think teams like this tend to be a little bit weak to Goldengo, and I'm not really seeing a ton of counterplay for that. But Smeargle also very effective applying Fake Out pressure, so I think I will go Smeargle, Goldengo with Urshifu in the back, and then my last Mon. I could actually see Torn being decent, but I think a little safer of an option is the Ursaluna, just to handle the Iron Hands with Earth Power as well as some of the other Pokemon. So I guess I could go Entei. Yeah, I'm not totally sure, but I think I'm going to go with the... Whoa. Okay. Communication error. Never mind. Okay, our opponent here has what looks like Alex Underhill's regionals team. We actually played a similar team earlier, and it went kind of badly, actually. I think we one kind of on some good luck. But what can we do? I think I made some mistakes in the brings the previous game. I want to go Urshifu. I tried Ursaluna in the previous one and it didn't go so hot in the late game, but I think Urshifu's bulk is really strong. Yeah, I like Torn as a lead, plus Goldango or Smeargle Goldango, one of the two. Goldango for sure, though. And I think I want to try Torn a little bit on lead. That could definitely have some value for me. I think I'm going to go Smeargle, Torn. And then last is Urshifu, just because I think it can tank ESpeeds a bit better than most Pokemon and knock out back. So that's what we're locking in here. I think this team struggles a bit with priority on opposing teams, and this is just like priority team number one. We have the Sucker Punch, Thunderclap, Extreme Speed on 2 Pokemon. Very difficult to handle. So setting up the Goldango, while although can be effective, can also be pretty difficult. They lead Entei, Chien-Pao, which I think it's Snarl on this team, unfortunately. So that is annoying, actually. Okay. Yeah, that's a big issue, actually. Yikes. Okay. Snarl Entei does a world of hurt to us, but I think we can get really aggressive here and read that, truthfully. And I think I am going to. Like, I don't see a huge reason not to make that read, other than, like, they could Sacred Fire me, sure. Like, they could take a KO and bring me to Sash on this turn, but if they do, I don't know, it is what it is. But I feel like Snarl is just very likely from them. They're going for a Terra, though, on Chien-Pao, maybe? Terra Ghost. Okay, I thought about fake outing that, so that makes sense, but yeah, okay. I wonder if they did go for Sacred Fire or not. We're going wide card. It's Snarl on the original team, but they could have changed it up. So they are going for an Ice Spinner into the Smeargle, breaking my Focus Sash, and what you doing? You going for Snarl? I feel like it's Snarl here. I'd go for Snarl. We do outspeed their Entei of note for sure. And they did go for Snarl, so that's good. If we get a speed boost here, we're kind of cooking. But if we don't, it'd be a bit annoying. The position would be a little harder than if we got a speed boost. We do get special defense, which is worthless, and we drop our special attack, which doesn't really matter. I think I'm going to protect, and I could follow me, but I think they just go for Sacred Fire here. So in case they do not, I'll just go Spore into the Entei. It doesn't have safety goggles, it's Assault Vest, so we're going to go there. Them having gotten that boost, like their Entei, like not losing Smeargle there is fine. I'm just going to protect this turn, but it is unfortunate my Smeargle is basically useless this turn. I am losing some momentum off that. Even though I got the first turn right and got the Nasty Plot, I didn't gain a whole lot off of it. Because a Shadow Ball, very unlikely to knock out their Entei now. But I guess I don't have to go for that, do I? What I could go for is actually Bleak Wind. No, I can't really do that because they can just Ice Spinner my Torn, can't they? So they went ESpeed Sucker instead of Ice Spinner Sacred Fire, which is interesting. Based on how the speeds break down, though, I should be outspeeding their Entei, given my Pokemon speed tie here. So that is what I'm leaning towards. Do I knock you out? Maybe, maybe not. It's going to be tough. I think I might actually have a free Sucker here. Or a free Nasty Plot. If I can knock out the Entei with Terra Dark Choice, we do. I like Nasty Plot, Terra Dark, Wicked Blow, actually. I think that should knock out the Entei. If it doesn't, we're kind of cooked. But if it does, we're in great shape. I guess ESpeed is of concern. I think I'm actually not going to Terra. I feel like Make It Rain, Wicked Blow should knock out here. And we also should survive a hit, I think. From either Sucker Punch or... This was a mistake, I think. I think it should have been... Oh, they go Ice Spinner. Interesting read. Oh, they were probably expecting Terra Dragon. Okay. So that's totally fine because now I get to Make It Rain off. I knock down the Entei into Wicked Blow range. And I get to... knock it out with a Wicked Blow and also not lose my Goldango. Yep. So I would really definitely... Like, I guess it's probably Alex's spreads, but I think this is a pretty important speed benchmark to be hitting on your Entei. If you're Jolly. If you're Adamant, I can kind of understand, but yeah, now we're looking pretty good in Tailwind. We'll see what booster they have on their remaining Pokemon, though. We should survive a Sucker Punch if we go for Terra Steel, which is important. But if they bring in the Ogre Pawn, they can just avoid that. They might have a pretty good lock on me, actually, with Dragonite in the back. Ogre Pawn last. Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. I don't know the speed on the Ogre Pawn, unfortunately. I kind of feel like switching out to Torn is a bit safe here. Maybe, maybe not. I'm not totally sure, but I think we should be able to live a hit and then get in range for a Make It Rain sweep. Yeah, I just went for the switch, but the idea here is I'm not sure of the Ogre Pawn speed. If they can outspeed me, then they can just Sucker Punch, Ivy Cudgel my Goldango to good effect. But if they Ice Spinner my Urshifu, that's a great play. It stops my Tailwind mode. They go follow me. So maybe, yeah, I could have Wicked Blowed here for a knockout onto that, potentially. They go Sacred Sword, which is kind of the intended move I was hoping to get. And now we should just have Make It Rain, Tailwind, I think, to close it out. Not close it out, but get me in a decent spot. I don't think +1 will knock them out. Like, I think it's probably likely the Chien-Pao protects here, but I don't think a Shadow Ball knocks out their Ogre Pawn, and I don't really want to just waste my, lose the Goldango to a Sucker Punch here when I have a free Make It Rain at least onto the Ogre Pawn to knock it in range of a Bleak Windstorm. Would they do Sucker Punch, which we do survive, yeah. Have enough EVs to do that, but I wouldn't have been able to live at full HP. I think they're an Adamant one where I think I might be EV to live Jolly. But regardless, we do get the Make It Rain. We're going to be at neutral after this, but I think the damage into the Ogre Pawn is well worth it. Yeah, that might be in range of a Shadow Ball. We crit the Chien-Pao, but that's not going to matter. Going to be close on whether it's in range for a Shadow Ball, and this is kind of the weird situation that gets introduced when you have a speed tying Goldango plus Urshifu combo. So we're going to see who they have in the back now. They opt to knock out the Goldango, just go for that, while leaving my Torn in the wings here. But we do have a KO into the Ogre Pawn whenever we want it, as long as we hit. And depending on who they have in the back, that might be what we go for. Raging Bolt, okay. So that is safety goggles, I believe, so they can just Thunderclap me, unfortunately. Thunderclap's pretty annoying, actually. So I think Thunderbolt, Thunderclap is... Urshifu's head is just like locked vertically because it's trying to look at the Raging Bolt, I think. That's cool. I didn't know it actually locked on targets like that. I feel like they could Thunderclap me for sure. Like Draco into Thunderclap is for sure a knockout, unfortunately. So I think I probably just raid Wicked. I guess I just Wicked Blow Bleak Wind. I don't think I win though, yeah. Well locked down by them, I think. I could have gone for close combat, but I don't think that's correct. They didn't actually Thunderclap. We go for Bleak Wind. Hopefully we connect on this guy. I think that damage could be critical. Yeah, that's a fair bit of damage. Probably should have gone for close combat. We lower their speed, which shouldn't be of consequence. Yeah. Close combat could have crit and knocked it out, but they go for Thunderbolt here. And we do survive, so close combat would have actually lost it there. I I think they can Thunderclap my Torn and follow me and win, and I don't want them to do that. So I think what I'll actually do is Wicked Blow. I guess they don't know that. I think they should know I'm Choice Banded based off that damage. They are reasonably high ranked. I'm going to Wicked Blow and Taunt. Is there anything I should taunt in particular? I don't think so. I don't think it really matters. But I guess I'll taunt the Ogre Pawn. I don't think it matters, like I said. I guess I can stop a Follow Me. They're going for Follow Me, which guarantees a... Oh, interesting. They would have let me Bleak win that turn to close it out, so they just risked the 80%, I think. Oh no, yeah, they went into the Torn, so makes sense. We did get the turn right. Now we... Grass Knot. Oh, it's going to be tight if that knocks out. Let me look that up, actually. I don't want to throw this game on an 80% that we don't have to take. Oh yeah, okay, so Bleak Wind, single double target, and Grass Knot. Actually, Grass Knot does more. So we should just be able to go Grass Knot, Wicked Blow, and close it out. They do Thunderclap into my Urshifu. Maybe they thought they got a read right that turn, but nope, not the case. I was CB, Choice Banded, and we go for the Grass Knot, and that is going to be able to close it out. Okay. So able to navigate around that without having to take that risk. But I do think these priority teams in the late game, against a team with no Protect, very limited defensive options, and Bulk, those are very, very difficult. And I do feel like I've kind of just like cheesed my way around those battles in this session. And yeah, just taking some notes, like the previous archetypes that this sort of team iterated from, the hyper offensive, like Blood Moon plus Choice Band and Urshifu stuff with Goldango set up, usually had a Follow Me in DD, and that was like precisely for these sort of teams, is you'd set up the Psychic Terrain and just prevent those priority moves from sweeping you while you have the speed advantage, and the lack of that really just means once your Smeargle goes down, you don't really have a line of defense against them, so you have to really just position well and get some reads right, which we have been doing, but it hasn't felt very secure in those wins. All right, opponent here has what looks like a rain team. They have Tornadus, Landorus, Urshifu, Water most likely, Rillaboom, Incineroar, and Archaludon. So likely trying to set up Rain Dance on the Torn. I think we can stop that fairly consistently with our Torn, which is max speed. So we can taunt them. I do like that a fair bit. We can also set up Tailwind and go for Spores. I don't know if there's safety goggles on the Incineroar, which is giving me some pause there, but Spore really effective against the rest of their Pokemon, I'd say. Entei is tempting. I think I am a max speed one, but I am Terra Fairy, so... Oh, I'm not max speed. So the Landorus could be a problem on that side. Yeah, we got to deal with Landorus first, I think. So, how are we going to do that? Taunt on their Torn is really problematic, but I think... Like, I feel like if they go Fake Out Incin lead, that's kind of annoying, but not the end of the world for me. I just don't know where their goggles will be. Like, if it's goggles and Incineroar, that's an annoyance for sure. I think Goldango's pretty weak here. I like Urshifu, and I think Ursaluna is pretty good. I don't really have a way to deny them Tail, or I don't have a way to deny Rain once it's up. So if they're like Mental Herb, and I try and taunt them, while that's annoying if they get Rain Dance up, it's not game ending for my back Pokemon, but if I let Rain get up and I have Entei in the back, my damage output is just so weak that I don't think I have a way out. So I think Smeargle is really strong against things like Archaludon here. If I can get a speed boost, it just dumpsters everything else, but Tornlando is their lead, which I think I'm happy with. I think I am just going to go Taunt into the Torn and Fake Out into the Landorus here. I could go Terra Flying Fake Out also, but I don't think that's so smart. Wide Guard's really strong too. but I think I can always wide guard next turn. I'm going to fake out the Lando, unlikely to be Covert Cloak, and we get a little bit of chip. We do move first on the taunt, and we'll see if they were Mental Herb. I think Bleak Wind's definitely a fair play from them. They do go for it, just expecting that taunt, basically. So that is annoying. We get an attack raise, not a speed raise, a bit annoying there, but we can go for wide guard Bleak Wind this turn. I think that's what I will go for. Reading a potential Protect on their Lando. Because they'd have to be Air Slash to hit my Smeargle here on the Tornadus, which they've revealed Bleak Wind. I don't think it's very likely. And they have to, I guess they don't protect the Lando, which is not ideal, but you know, it is what it is. If we hit this Bleak Wind, we can gauge damage. I think if we go for a Terra Flying the next turn, we will have a double knockout. They did go for Sandsear Storm, though. That's pretty incredible for me. That's really good, actually, yeah. Okay. I wonder why they didn't go for another move. I think what I'm going to go for this turn is actually the Tailwind. Instead of risking the Bleak Wind here, I'm going to Spore into the Torn and go for Tailwind. And that should be pretty strong. We are getting another attack raise, so pretty unlucky with the Smeargle here. I mean, not unlucky, just not super fortunate. Yeah, drop defenses. So I'm going to go for Tailwind here, just set that up while I have the opportunity. And Spore into the Torn while it is still vulnerable. They could go Sand... Oh, they're switching it out. Oh my goodness. Okay. What are you switching in? Our Chaladon is an ideal Spore target, actually. I'm super fine with that. So I think if they had gone for a single target attack move there, I don't really know why they didn't. Maybe they don't have it, but yeah, that Spore into the Archaladon's very good. I, on some level, expected the Lando to protect there, but I mean, this is fine. They go for Sludge Bomb this turn, so couldn't have redirected around that, and we get a pretty ideal situation where we get that, this going. I think Bleak Wind, like, knockoff, like Wicked Blow is really good here, I think, as an option. They haven't burned Terra yet. I could go for Hyper Voice as well, which I feel like would knock out. I think this is a good opportunity to set that up. Well, I don't want them protecting away my turns of Tailwind, actually. So I think I will just bring in the Urshifu and go for a Bleak Wind to knock out their... I could go Terra Flying Bleak Wind to knock out their Lando, but I don't think that's so necessary. Yeah, I probably should have just gone Ursaluna here, I think, but it is what it is. I think Terra Flying is a risky play. Could be a game winner, though, honestly. Because if I go for that and I connect, then I can just take a double knockout this turn with more turns of Tailwind. I don't know. I think I'm going to go for it, actually. Because the thought process here is if I connect on the Incineroar comes out. Okay, that's annoying. But we are going to get a ton of damage off with this Bleak Wind if we connect. But the idea here was, I didn't expect Incineroar, honestly, so it turns out the Ursaluna would have been a lot better in the back to bring in. But the idea was, if I knock out Landorus this turn, then I can also maybe knock out our Chaladon, and it really simplifies the end of this game, because I can taunt their Torn and Wicked Blow that slot, guarantee no Tailwind, and then most likely Urshifu in the back means we can just close from there. They are going for a defensive Terra. It could be Terra Fairy, which I think is ideal for me, actually, given that I went for the Bleak Wind this turn instead of a switch. I mean, I was always going to Bleak Wind, but yeah, this is good. We do double hit the Bleak Wind. That's a ton of damage onto the Incin and the Archaladon. Yeah, that's a ton of damage. I doubt Wicked Blow is going to bring me home here, but this is super valuable damage into the Incin. Yeah, we are going to 2-hit KO that next turn if they are not Citrus Berry, which they are not. Okay, that's super nice. Thinking of trying to lock this game down. I think Sucker Punch Urshifu does a good job of it. Covert Cloak here is really effective. I think being not locked into Wicked Blow is actually worse for me. If they wake up with our Chaladon and fake out my Like if they fake out my Torn and I double hit Bleak Wind, I do just win the game this turn. But if they fake out the Urshifu and wake up on the Archaludon while I'm locked into Bleak Wind, yeah, I could really see this game going sideways from there. So we do double hit the Bleak Wind. That is making things way easier for our Sucker Punch here. We should have a knockout into everything in the late game. But if they bring in the Torn, that could be an issue. The body presses might be a little bit too much damage to take. They do stay asleep though. I think that should be enough to close this out though. With that, we should be able to taunt, and I want to say Blood Moon should knock out the Archaludon with a Blood Moon. But yeah, I think that sleep turn is really, really essential there. And double connecting, of course, chips us into the range where we need it to be. Landorus comes out, interesting. They are tempting me here. But I think we always just go for a... Honestly, Grass Knot is a bit tempting as well. Just like to guarantee we knock it into Sucker Punch range, and I think I will go for that, actually. Like, they didn't get Tailwind up, I believe, this battle. They do protect the Lando, stalling at the last turn. I think it's usually Assault Vest Archaludon, so we're going to try and go for that with the knockout on Blood Moon. They couldn't protect there. I think, yeah, very essential was the multiple turn sleep. But I think regardless, if my Blood Moon was going to outspeed their Archaludon, we would have won anyways. But I think if it were a faster Arch for Tailwind, which it most likely was, that could have gone sideways. Where the Torn goes down when they knock me out with like Flash Cannon or something. I bring in Urshifu, they bring in Tornadus actually. And then they set up Tailwind, body press my Ursaluna, and if that KOs, I'm just like toast. At this point though, no Tailwind. I guess this still isn't quite over. But I kind of feel like I should just be able to Bleak Wind Hyper Voice and win. Well, maybe not. Huh, okay. I guess this isn't quite over, but I think Bleak Wind Hyper Voice should do it, I want to say. Should I Tailwind here? I don't think so. I don't think it really matters. Yeah, they expected me to taunt and go for a Bleak Wind of their own, and I just Bleak Wind and knock them out. But the reason I didn't taunt them is because if they go for a Bleak Wind and an Earth Power, while I taunt, I don't outspeed their Landorus anymore, so they are primed to go for a Bleak Wind Earth Power and just knock out my Ursaluna, at which point I can't win with Sucker Punch. So I thought, okay, like, if they go for Tailwind on Tornadus, they have to, in order to not risk the game on just like Bleak Wind misses, they have to Sludge Bomb my Torn, which would leave my Ursaluna open to go for a Hyper Voice, at which point I should kind of have it with a Sucker Punch on the Urshifu if I make the right read the next turns. So that was mainly the idea on that last turn. But overall, looking at the game plan of that battle, it was another one where Smeargle was really effective. I think the pressure it applies on lead is really effective, especially with wide guard against things like Landorus, Tornadus, and maybe that's something I should leverage a bit more just because the taunts are pretty obvious with that lead. But yeah, the idea was I just really did not want them to taunt my Smeargle, so I taunted turn 1 and fake out of the Lando, but they did just go for Bleak Wind. So in the future, it does feel like people are playing pretty smart around the Smeargle and just going for Bleak Winds instead of taunts a lot of the time, or taunts at just like this really opportune time. So I do need to be more careful with that and kind of just like respect my opponents a little bit more to be more scared of the Smeargle. People do just seem like they're playing very terrified around it, which is kind of the point of the Pokemon. It definitely instills a lot of fear with the unpredictability as well as just the consistency of the standard set, but you can always just be surprised by some random thing. Okay, more of a balanced team from my opponent. They have Raging Bolt, Rillaboom, Urshifu, Metagross, Incineroar, and Amoonguss. So very slow team outside of the Urshifu, so that does make me think it could be a Choice Scarf one. I think teams like this kind of can get eaten up by Goldango though. I like Entei a lot as well. So I think I'm going to go Goldango, Entei. Well, now that's a little sketch into the Urshifu, of course, but I think Honestly, I like Tailwind here as well. Even though I don't need the speed advantage, having the option to just outspeed and get the drop on the Urshifu is of course important. I think Entei might be a good bring here. But the power, I really don't feel like the Entei is being brought that often, but against Rillaboom teams it's definitely strong. I could see this being the battle for it actually, but it is hard to argue with the Wicked Blows. Yeah, that's very tempting. I guess Fake Out is something I need to be worried about to some extent. I don't know though. I don't want to bring it just for the sake of bringing it, so I do think that I will maybe leave it on the bench. I don't know. I feel like defensively it just goes so well into everything but the Urshifu. Honestly, this team doesn't have a lot of like defensive answers for Urshifu, truthfully enough. You do need the Tornadus to make you just outspeed and knock it out, which is why I've brought that. So I guess I will just commit to that and hope that I can take care of it with Smeargle and the Goldengo and Torn, and then Entei should tear off the rest of the team pretty well. So it is Urshifu plus the Rillaboom, which is fine, I think. I think I'm just going to fake out the... Like, they need to be at max speed on that guy to deal with me, so I think I'm just going to go fake out into the Urshifu and Nasty Plot. Rillaboom usually does get the advantage of being the fastest of the fake out users, but against Smeargle, not the case. And we get a little bit of chip. They go for Grassy Glide and confirm that they are faster than our Goldengo, which is interesting. Okay. That's a bit annoying. I wonder if a Surging Strikes will knock out my Goldengo if they, or my Goldengo, yeah. We raise our attack, but not really what we're hoping for there. I don't think a defense was going to get us there anyways, but now they can just go for a... I guess I could have Spored, but I don't think that would have been right. I think I'm going to go Terra... Do I want to Terra Steel into their close combat? Probably not. But I think we have a knockout on the board. And I think I'm just going to go for it. Quick Guard would be pretty cool on the Smeargle here, but we don't have it. We are locking in the Terra here. Unless they go for a Terra Fire on Rillaboom, I think we should be good to clear that out. And I think unless they're Focus Sash, we should also knock out the Urshifu with this. Or get very, very close. We go for Follow Me on the off chance they do not Grassy Glide the Smeargle here. But I think a close combat would be super aggressive from their Urshifu, and if they go for it, well played. I'll feel a little bit silly and probably just lock in the forfeit. They do Surging Strikes, which I think we are EV'd to take. Yeah, we are. I have a fair bit of bulk on the Goldengo. Well, not a lot, but enough for a setup 1 on a Tailwind team. So we should be surviving a Make It Rain if I had to guess. Or we should be surviving a Grassy Glide after this healing from Grassy Terrain, and we go for that, and we do take a double knockout. So although we do trade most of Goldengo and only go to +1 and sacrifice Smeargle, we do take a double knockout on their Pokemon, which is really the intent of this lead. We've also softened everything up a bit for my Entei and back. I think I'm going to go into that instead of the Torn, but I guess that could have been a mistake, but I think they really don't have a lot defensively. Thunderclap might actually sweep me. Raging Bolt here. That is a bit problematic. I think I'm going to go for a Nast Protect and a... Honestly, a Stomping Tantrum seems good into you. Huh. Yeah. Who would... Yeah, Urshifu would have been better in the back here. As I kind of expected, but didn't end up pulling the trigger on. I think I'm just going to protect Goldengo as they probably Thunderclap me and go for a Stomping Tantrum into this. If I was Choice Band, I'd probably get there, but yeah. Oh, they're going for a Terra on the Metagross, which makes sense. I don't think a Shadow Ball will knock them out anymore because of that, but I almost expected them to go for a Terra on their Raging Bolt, truthfully. They did not go Thunderclap, which is a very good play. Oh, we do no damage with Stomping Tantrum, and they Calm Mind. Okay. Great play there. That's super bad. Well played. Yeah, very good read. They go Knockoff on Assault Vest. Okay, fair enough. Would you be feel like now's the turn you Thunderclap, though. Yeah, great play. Leftovers, oh my god, that thing's healing so much. I think even if even if they didn't Thunderclap here, I probably would not have a knockout. I think I'm going to go Sacred Fire, try and get the burn and then Nasty Plot, and trying to read them going Thunderclap, but they go Protect. Okay. I think that's ideal. They're probably going for a Stomp or a something into my Goldango, which makes sense. We do get the burn on the Metagross, so we should live this turn, but that does make things a little more complicated. Yeah, they do knock off there. We are going to barely live because of that burn. But we are now maybe in range of a Bullet Punch. Probably not, but maybe. Our Entei is looking a lot better, though. I kind of want to protect my Goldango and Stomping Tantrum that Raging Bolt. They could Calm Mind again. I doubt it, though. They're just taking so much damage, like healing so much off. I think I'm going to Stomp the Raging Bolt this turn. I feel like Thunderclap is coming soon. They're finally in range of like a Shadow Ball at this point. They do Thunderclap the Entei though. Okay, we do survive. Thankfully, otherwise the game probably just ends, but they also go for a knockoff into my Goldango. Fair enough. This is weird. Now that I think they can just easily Thunderclap, double up my Goldango, and there's not a lot I can do about it. Like knockoff plus, yeah, Stomping Tantrum, the damage is just so lackluster that I think I can't even win, even if I do. Like I need to protect and them get in some more trouble, I think. Grassy Terrain really needs to leave the field so I can deal with this Raging Bolt, though. Yeah, Leftovers healing would be good here. I don't have it. I think maybe I just go for... Goodness, okay. This is scary. I wish I had the Urshifu in the back, man. Okay. Because then I could just Sucker Punch them. I think they're probably going to Thunderclap here, so I kind of want to go for a Nasty Plot or a Protect. But I think I will just go Shadow Ball. No, I'm going to go Protect. Stomping Tantrum again. We don't get the double Protect. I think knockoff should knock me out here. They did Thunderclap into that, so I could have gone Nasty Plot, but I at least give myself the odds to get a double Protect there, which I think is smart. Stomping Tantrum, going to strike once again. They do go knockoff into the Entei, which I think might have been a mistake. Potentially, but probably not. They might just have my Goldango locked down with Thunderclaps, though, so they can always maybe just go for that. So I may just go for another Protect. That is annoying. I could taunt them to simplify this battle a bit. Leftovers is annoying. I think I have a knockout into them with the Shadow Ball this turn. But they shouldn't really be worried about me. I think I'm going to Shadow Ball just because I have an active Protect here and go for a Taunt into you so I don't have to worry about anything. Yeah, we'll go for that. I think they could Protect too. But I just don't want to get my Metagross or my Torn Thunderclapped. They Thunderclapped the Goldango though, fair enough. I think I would have needed to get a couple more turns right to win that battle, so good on them. I think that was just bad brings in the back. The Torn and the Entei ended up being less than useless pretty much. They do go for the knockoff, so I could have Grass Knotted for some big damage into that guy, but I was just very worried that... Yeah, I didn't hit the right buttons on the right turns. They got the Thunderclaps really, really well done on their part with the late game Raging Bolt. With the Leftovers in the Grassy Terrain, I just didn't have the damage output I needed to close on it. So that will do it for our battles featuring Enzo and Ian's really cool hyper-offensive Smeargle Goldango team. I do feel like the Smeargle and Goldango were the centerpieces for sure. And the Torn Urshifu were, I feel like, the more consistent members of the team. And then the Ursaluna and the Entei were, I was not quite grasping when those should be coming in certain matchups, but overall, really strong team. I think it's a team that they have a lot of experience using, similar ones, so they were able to bring out the most of it. I wouldn't say for the uninitiated, a very easy team to use. I was definitely struggling with it a fair bit, but definitely has a lot of strengths for people who are used to playing hyper offensive strategy. So if you want to try it on the ladder yourself, I have the rental code in the top right of the video, as well as the Pokepaste with the EV spreads for use on Pokemon Showdown below. Below in the description. If you enjoyed the battles as well as the team breakdown, please give in the description below. If you enjoy the videos as well as the team in the description below, if you enjoy the videos as well as the rental codes and the resource provided by that, please subscribe to the channel. And with all that being said, peace y'all.